I brought this along. This is what we're talking about here. It has 12 carbs, 150 calories, and 28 grams of protein. How do you pack so much protein into this bar?
Yeah, so the main leverage to get those macronutrients or protein to calorie ratio would be the technology we bought in last year this time, EPG, and it's a non-nutritive fat.
And it tastes good?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty neutral, actually.
Would you like some?
Yeah, of course. Should I take an enormous bite?
A huge bite.
Don't look.
And then I'll ask you a question. It's peanut butter, so it sticks. It's good. So let's talk about this technology. What does it do that makes it so this packs protein and not calories?
Take my time.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time.
So if you're designing a protein bar with the assumption that what people want is the most protein with the least amount of other stuff, you really want to minimize fat. But if you do that, the consequence would be it doesn't form well, it's not palatable. So fat is like this underrated thing in food.
Well, it's good.
Like butter's amazing, right? And
Yeah,
it's a lot of the
best.
mouthfeel. Like peanut butter without fat is terrible, actually.
Yeah.
And so to have so fat is essential in palatability, and it also functions as a way to bind. So, wait, what was the question?
How is it that we have all this protein and none of the calories?
Yeah, and so, when designing the protein bar, we really wanted as much, like, no fat, but you need fat. And so, EPG is like an amazing application because you can get all the qualities of fat from a palatability perspective, but without the nutritional.
How?
It's not digestible. So similar to fiber or allulose or these non-nutritive sweeteners, your body can't break it down and utilize the energy that's in it.
So there's this company making EPG. I think it's called Epigi.
Yeah.
And why did nobody else discover it?
Why did no one else discover it? So two things. The large food companies are perhaps the innovator dilemma. New technology, new things are hard to experiment because it's very expensive. So EPG is very expensive. So like financially, it will be hard to do. You cannibalize your best SKUs. So the big food companies aren't set up for it. And then I think the entrepreneurs, the other sort of people that could use it, are more or less Luddites in the food space, meaning like they're going back in time, they're anti-technology, and so it left it wide open for someone who like me to utilize it.
So you start utilizing it, and then you buy it.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So when we first started interacting with the company Epigi, one, as anyone in the food business knows, like you can't have a single source supplier. Like it's huge risk.
Yeah.
And so, like my view was like, all right, this either leads to like litigation or acquisition. Like it was like not good. And so I just got close with the company, built a relationship, and they were at the Epigi team they've been in it for 15 years. And it got close, and it made sense for them to just like merge with us. So it happened. I got close to the chairman, and he was like, one day he was like, "Hey, I got a crazy idea. How about you guys take it over?" And I was like, "Let me think about it."
You're like, okay.
Yeah, not too excited.
Yeah.
But it just makes sense, like to have an ingredient business, to be a supplier and be reliant. You can't really control your demand. You have this chicken or the egg problem. So, right, you need enough supply to serve the demand of a large food company, but you need the demand to generate the supply. So they're in this like really hard position, and so building an ingredient business is very, very difficult. And so you need to be the vertical integration and the full like straight to consumer I think makes a lot of sense.
Was it in your original plan?
I didn't think it was possible. I didn't know them, so it's like, do they want to sell? Like, what is? It's hard to know, to empathize with what they want. But yeah, it was right away. I was like, because it was very clear. Like, okay, they own the IP. We're using it. It's a big position of leverage they have.
Yeah.
So it was just always a problem for us. So I had to solve the problem in some way.
Are you going to scale that business?
Yeah.
Because by how much?
Well, it's hard to sell an ingredient. Like, I think, startups don't have any volume. The large companies are just waiting.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're actively trying to supply or sell.
It's also the source of some pain points for you.
Yeah.
In these lawsuits. There was a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit, saying that your calories were a lie.
Yeah.
You fought that suit. Why?
Because it was a frivolous case and misinformation. That's why we fought it. Because it wasn't true. So how did we fight it?
Yeah.
So it was actually like the legal part was not a problem. It was more public reputation, like public opinion issue. And so it was really on TikTok particularly.
Yeah, this is such an interesting
Yeah,
story.
we had, the way the story works is like, normal week. It's like Tuesday at a management meeting, and all of a sudden I get like text messages like, "Oh, people are talking shit about David," and I'm like, "Oh, it's normal." But then I was like, "Oh shit, this is like going viral." And a content creator made a really, really funny video about getting Regina George. So if anyone knows Mean Girls, Regina George is a character who like feeds her enemies bars that are like really highly caloric to get them fat. And so it's like a really funny like story that went viral.
Porking me up here.
No, this is true. And so the legal shakedown that everyone is familiar with in food was just like, okay, we'll handle that. But it was really about the public opinion. And the way we addressed it is like, all right, let's break it off to the problem. So one, we have to address the misinformation. And basically it was a misunderstanding on the balm. A balm calorimeter like doesn't measure non-nutritive stuff. It just burns. And so so education's really hard. So we had to address the education. But then you have to like spread the information because education turns out doesn't go viral. So how to go viral is like, you have to be entertaining. So first was like, let's address the misinformation and correct the narrative. And then second, let's entertain. And the entertainment was as this rumors video that went viral, luckily.
And that stopped the dive in sales.
Yeah, and you just have to, the key thing is now speed. So this happened Tuesday and we had it out Thursday.
Wow.
Because the media cycle is like, it used to be 2 weeks. Now it's like this Monday through Friday. Yeah. And then the market's moved
36 hours.
Moved on. Yeah. Right. So speed is super important. So it's like speed, truth, humor.
Okay. Speed, truth, humor. Let's move on. The other lawsuit was antitrust. You bought this company and then you took it all for yourself.
Yeah.
And why not share?
Well, so the Epigee capacity was about 2 million pounds. David's needs was about 2.5 million pounds.
Oh.
So whether the deal went through or not, all those people would have been out of not service because we had a contract that would consume all this available supply. So yeah, that's the real.
So you dismissed with that case too?
That case was dismissed, yeah, because intellectual property is intellectual property.
But will you look to scale the business and sell to other people?
Yeah, Epigee, for sure.
What about your own plans for the future?
So when we merged and acquired sort of Epigee, it changed the aperture of our vision. And what we see for the group, and we're going to be moving to the name Medici as a parent company, which is, for anyone who likes history, they are the patrons of the Renaissance and both the arts and the sciences.
Statue of David?
Yep, they enabled the masterpiece Sculpture of David.
So Medici, it's what Alphabet is to Google, Medici is to
yeah.
David. Okay, got it.
To macerate the monopoly. It's a joke.
All the lawyers in here appreciate it. Yeah.
No. So we'll have different business units underneath Medici.
All using EPG.
Not entirely, but that's the immediate opportunity. Is because like the thing is like, as time goes on, no one wants to buy it. It's very difficult to sell EPG, so we're going to create brands in the places that make sense.
Tell us about them. What are the brands? What you got cooking?
We have David, whose position is all about protein to calorie ratio. So it's our protein, sort of think of it as sports nutrition position. We just launched ice cream yesterday. That'll be a protein ice cream. It's a really great product. And then the next brand will be called Hall Pass, the double entendre. For kids, it means going out of class, and then for adults, it's something else. And that's a confection business, so low calorie, low sugar confections.
Tastes good?
Yeah, it's great. I was supposed to bring you some.
Yeah, you were.
And I failed to do that.
When does that launch?
Fall this
Okay.
year. Yeah.
Hall Pass.
Yep.
So cookies?
Potentially, yes. Not immediate. But yeah,
Immediate-
sweet treats, right?
Sweet
So like, I don't really eat candy.
Oh,
Like, I don't
candy.
eat chocolate. I don't like the word candy, but like I don't really eat chocolate that frequently. And the question's why is because it's really calorie dense. It's not necessarily good for you. It's a pleasure. So the strategy with Hall Pass is really kind of be like the Diet Coke or Coke Zero of candy.
That seemed to work. And is that it? What else is under Medici?
The fourth business unit will be in salty snacks, so frying.
So Doritos.
A little different, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, the same sort of type.
What's the timeline for that?
To be determined. We don't know. We're sort of stretched pretty organizationally, pretty tight on capacity.
And how much more will there be?
I think that's their immediate 4-year plan.
Okay.
There's another sort of QSR concept we're working on.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Whataburger?
No, God, no. We can't touch them.
Yes, don't touch them.
No, it's more. I would say the breakfast occasion. I don't know.
Breakfast occasion.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Coffee too.
Yeah.
You like coffee.
Love coffee.
One of your first businesses was a coffee shop.
Yeah, exactly. It was a donut shop called Cream and Sugar.
Oh, will there be donuts?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And then you will sell?
So donuts, yeah.
No, sell Medici.
Will we sell?
Like exit, like you did with our
Yeah,
X
I
bar.
don't. So, great companies don't sell. I think it's true. So if we're trying to build a great company, I don't think if we sell, it's over.
Our X bar is over?
For me, it was yeah.
Okay.
It was, I don't want the party to stop. So, so why would we sell? So the reason we would sell was either, I don't know. I don't think we would sell.
IPO?
It's just we have so much work to do. Sure, that's a fantasy, but we don't have our business isn't set up to be a public company yet. I think we would have to diversify quite a bit to be accepted in those with those investors. But I don't even. I just focus on making great brands and products. But I don't plan to sell because it's over. If you do,
You die?
yeah. You've just got to. Yeah. I already did that, so.
Right. You've been through that. Now you want to build something.
Yeah, I like.
Like the next Kellogg.
Sure. Yeah.
Is protein just a fad? You talk about diet fads and all this.
Yeah, fad. I don't think it's comparable to say Atkins or paleo or keto, where those are specific diet recommendations, they're interventions to lose weight or something. Whereas protein it's just a macronutrient, so it's not if you were to tell me oh, there's a protein diet program that is really popular, then I would say then that might be something. But protein as a macronutrient of importance is not. I don't think it's a trend.
What is the most overlooked protein
Soy, without a question.
How,
Why is it overlooked?
why is it overlooked?
So if you're a North American male, I think you would know that like there's this terrible brand that soy has that it gives you breasts.
I did not know this.
Oh yeah. So
Is this
so that
true, North
it's a
American
really
men?
interesting reputation. Like I intellectually know that soy does not do that. I understand it and I still avoid it.
Do you eat edamame? Huh? You avoid it, no
I just
tofu?
like if I see soy, I immediately think like, oh, it's not good. But like, but I think that's the best contrarian. That's like soy is probably the best misunderstood protein.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, yes.
Hi there, Dana McCauley from the Canadian Food Innovation Network. When you describe your 4-year plan, there is a ton of R&D and a ton of technology, elasticity that has to be in this fat. Just curious to hear about what that team looks like, what the budget is, and how you are, putting innovation, I guess, into your strategy and into your budget, because this is huge, what you just described.
Oh, thank you. I'll repeat the question because she asked, how does you have a lot of plans? There's a lot of R&D and investment in technology. What does the organization look like? What is the budget for it? So R&D and product, the center of the company, and so product and R&D is at Medici, not at the business units. So it's like basically people, product, and cash are at Medici, and then everything else is at the business unit. So that's how we organize it. Product consumes 30% of my time. We have a team of probably 15 in it. And so budget-wise, like, it's whatever it needs. There's no budget, really. But it's very hard to actually spend on art, because it's the barrier, it's not that expensive. The research is expensive, which will consume most of the budget. But I'd say the budget $10 million for the next 2 years on it.
What do you have to say about GLP-1s?
GLP-1s. Okay, nutrition culture was shaped by diet interventions to lose weight. So you'd see these cycles from Atkins in the early 90s, even the sort of organic movement and vegetarian or vegan, into paleo, into keto. And more recently, it's like carnivore. Those are all like these driven by weight loss or body composition. And so, but if anyone's done a diet, it's really hard to be compliant. And you don't actually get good results. So with GLP-1s or the GLP drugs, they are an intervention that actually really, really works. And so I think the days of diet, the cyclicality of diet trends are over, because diet is no longer used as an intervention to lose weight. There's a drug that's 1,000 times more effective and arguably easier, like better on every single aspect. So I think these days of this whipsaw of diet trends, like it's just confusing. Like last year, it's like starve yourself, now eat 5 small meals a day. Like dairy's bad, dairy's good. All that I think is going to sort of calm down, because it's not going to be used to lose weight, and you're going to have this drug. So I think, looking forward, I think you're going to see less volatility in nutrition culture and more stability, because everyone's going to be going to these drugs